Good afternoon, dear students. Previous class we start to learn about people as resources. So, in a different way. So, people as resources is a way of referring to a country's working people. Understood now? So, in terms of their existing productive population, from this productive aspects, emphasizes its ability to contribute the creation of the gross national product, which we called as GNP. See, investment in human capital through education, training, and medical care. So it yields returns just like an investment in physical, what we call like a physical capital. See, this can be seen directly in the form of higher incomes earned because of higher productivity of the more educated or better trained persons, as well as the higher productivity of healthier people. So, to illustrate this, how people can try to become a more productive resources. So now in this class we are going to discuss this topic with the example of uh, two stories. One is that the story of Vilas, and then another one is that the story of Saka. Let us see that the story of Saka. So there were two friends. There were two friends, Vilas and Saka. So they were living in the same village, Semapur. The name of the village is Semapur. Here, Sakal was a 12-year-old boy, and his mother, Sheila, looked after domestic chores. She was looked after domestic chores. His father, Bhutan Chowdhury, he was worked in an agricultural field. Father, he was worked in an agricultural field. So mother was look after domestic chores, and he was a 12-year-old boy, and father was worked in an agricultural field. Sakal helped his mother in domestic chores, and he also looked after his younger brother Jitu and sister Situ. See that the family is so big. The family is so big. So he was a 12-year-old boy, and he was helped her mother also in domestic chores, and even he also looked after his younger brother Jitu and sister Situ. Jitu and Situ, so they are younger than Saka. Got it now? See, his uncle Sham had passed the matriculation examination. His uncle Sam had passed the matriculation examination but was sitting idle in the house as had no job. Just he was idle one. He was actually not doing any work. Buddha and Sheila, so they were eager to teach Saka. They forced him to join the village school, which he soon joined. He started studying and completed his higher secondary examination also. So Sakal, he was actually started studying and completed his higher, what we call the secondary examination also. His father persuaded him to continue his studies. The father persuaded him to continue his studies. He raised a loan for Sakal to study a vocational course in computer also. Sakal was meritorious and interested in studies from the beginning. He was so much interested in the beginning about studies. After some time, he got a job in a private firm. He got a job in a private firm. He even designed a new kind of software. So this software helped him increase the sale of the firm. So his boss acknowledged his services and rewarded him with a promotion also. So this is one story. See, is from the almost not a richer class. So mother was household, so she was look after household costs, and father, so he was worked in an agricultural field. Sakad helps his mother in domestic chores, and as well as even he looked after his younger brother Jitu and even the sister Situ also. His uncle Shan had passed the matriculation, but he had no job. He was sitting idle. So only the father and mother, so they were worked in a different. And here the Sakal was forced to continue his study also to complete his matriculation. I mean the what we called the higher secondary education. And afterwards his father taken a loan for Sakal to study a vocational course in computers also. See, Sakal was meritorious, he was interested in studies from the beginning. With great vigor and enthusiasm, he completed that course also. And after some time, he was got a job in a private firm, and also he was even he was designed a new kind of software also, and this helped him increase the sale of the firm. So his boss acknowledged his services and even rewarded him with a promotion. Getting these students. Now this is one story. Then let us see the another one story, that is about the story of Vilas. Story of Vilas. See, Vilas was an 11-year-old boy residing in the same village as a Saka, in the same village, the same Ampur. Vilas' father, Mahesh, he was a fisherman. He was a fisherman. His father passed away when he was only 2 years old. So unfortunately, Vilas' father was passed away when he was in 2 years old. His mother, Geeta, sold fish to earn money to feed the family. The mother, Geeta, actually, she was sold fish to earn money to feed the family. She bought fish from the landowner's pond and sold in the nearby mandi, what we called as the market. She could earn only about 20 to 30 rupees a day by selling fish. So very lesser amount. See, to feed our family, she used to sold a fish, and she used to bought a fish from the landowner's pond and sold in the nearby market or mandi. And she could earn only 20 to 30 rupees. 20 or 30 rupees a day by selling fish. See, Vilas became a patient of arthritis. Arthritis. That means which is related to bone something. So when Vilas became a patient of arthritis, his mother could not afford to take him to the doctor. She can't. He was not interested in studies. So he was not interested in studies also. He helped his mother in cooking and also looked after his younger brother Mohan. And after some time, his mother fell sick and there was no one to look after her. because he was unable to earn anything else. And there was no one in the family to support them also. Nobody is there to support them, and even so, there was no one to look after us also. Vilas too was forced to sell fish in the same village. Unfortunately, there was no way Vilas was forced to sell fish in the same village. He, like his mother, had only Anya's income, very less income. See, dear students, we studied in the two cases. One is about the Sakal and then Vilas. So here, just you can think how it's become so much of important to invest. Actually, when we are going to seen as the human resource, we needs to be invest on their education, on their health care. Understood? And then only we can. In this, see, in the two case studies, we saw Sakal went to school and Vilas did not go. Sakal went to school and Vilas did not go. Sakal was physically strong and healthy. He was so strong and healthy. So there was no need for him to visit the doctor frequently because he was healthy one. He was a strong one. But Vilas was a patient of arthritis. He was suffering from a disease. He lacked the means to visit the doctor, even though he was unable to meet the doctor to get treatment. Sakal acquired a degree in computer programming. Getting these students. Sakal acquired a degree in computer programming and Sakal was found a job in a private firm while Vilas continued with the same work as his mother to sell fish. He had years income, very less income like his mother to support a family. See, dear students, in the case of Sakal, several years of education added to the quality of labor. This was enhanced is totally productivity. Total productivity adds to the growth of the economy also. So this in turn pays an individual through salary or in some other form of his choice. In case of Vilas, there could not be any education or healthy care in the early part of his life. He spends his life selling fish like his mother, complete life. Henceforth, he draws the same salary of unskilled labor as his mother. Just that is about only 20 rupees or 30 rupees a day. That's all. See here, investment in human resource, that is via education and medical care. It's very much important. That can give high rates of return in the future. If we are investing today, the returns we will get afterwards, I mean in the future. So this investment on people is the same as investment in land and capital also. So one invests his shares and bonds expecting higher return in the future. So how much we are investing, so that's much we are going to get a return in the future. A child too. A child too. See, with investments made on her education and health, can yield a high return in the future in the form of higher earnings and greater contribution to society. With investments made on her education and health, that can yield a high return in the future in the form of higher earnings and greater contribution to society. See, educated parents are found to invest more heavily on the education of their child. ಸೊ ಯೂಸುವಲಿ ಈ ದಿನಗಳಲ್ಲಂತೂ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸರಿ ತಿಳಿದವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೋ ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯು ನೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ಎನಿ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಸೊ ಆನ್ ಸೊ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಐ ಮೀನ್, ಸೊ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ give the better education for your child, that is becomes the more valuable assets lifelong. ಸೊ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರ ಬದಲು ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಕೊಡಿಸೋ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಅವರನ್ನೇ ಆಸ್ತಿಯನ್ನಾಗಿ ಪರಿವರ್ತಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ making assets in a different way, so if the parents, if they are going to make their children as asset, that's what the permanent one, that shows that. See, we all of you knows that most of the educated parents are found to invest more heavily on the education of their child. So this is because they have realized the importance of education for themselves. So nowadays it's so much important. So whatever it may be, whether they are going to get job or not, so we should not provide education only for the purpose of job. Even agriculture is also a required education. If the educated one, even the farmers, so they are actually earning a lot. They are actually earning a lot. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ ಮಕ್ಕಳ, ಸೊ ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ವಿಧಾನಗಳನ್ನು ಬಳಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೊಸ ಹೊಸ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ಪಾದನಾ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಒನ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್, not only for officials, not only for official jobs, or not only for to get any other government jobs or private companies or industries, even in agricultural field also, even to lead our life in a joyful happy way. So education is required, it's one of the most important. So that's why, so this is because they have realized the importance of education for themselves. They are also conscious of proper nutrition and hygiene. Proper nutrition and hygiene. They accordingly look after their children's needs for education at school and good health. So ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಿಷನ್ ಫುಡ್ ಕೊಡೋದು, that is also very much important, and hygiene. A virtuous cycle is thus created in this case. In contrast, a vicious cycle may be created by disadvantaged parents who themselves uneducated and lacking in hygiene keep their children in a similarly disadvantaged state. If the parents are uneducated, if they are not aware about all those things, medical care, the value of the education, the importance of the education, and if they are lacking in hygiene, so even they are keep their children in a similarly disadvantaged state. See, countries like Japan, they have the people in Japan have invested in human resource a lot. ಜಪಾನ್ ನಂತಹ ದೇಶಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸೊ ಅತ್ಯಧಿಕವಾದ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದೇ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇನ್ ಜಪಾನ್, ಸೊ ದೇ ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್, ಸೊ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆನ್ people, that's as human resource. So these countries are, we all of you knows that rich countries, developed countries, even they did not have any natural resources, just they are invest in human resources. The most of the developed countries and rich countries, they import the natural resource needed in their country. How did they become rich and developed? The most of the raw materials they are actually importing. Then how did they become rich and developed countries? See, They have invested on people, especially in the field of education and health. The Japanese, like the other developed and rich countries, so they are invested on people, especially in the field of education and health. So these people have made efficient use of other resources like land and capital. So efficiency and the technology evolved by people have made these countries rich or developed. Getting dear students. Efficiency and the technology evolved by people have made these countries rich and developed. So then we are able to understand the how even if they did not have the sufficient natural resources also, by investing in human resources, how these countries are become developed and rich countries. See, consumption and processing of a primary product and own account production of fixed assets. Understood now, dear students? So, as here in Japan and in some of the rich countries, so they used to invest a lot in human resources because they did not have any natural resources. See, these countries are giving more important to education and healthcare. See, they have invested on people, especially in the field of education and health. And people made efficient use of other resources like land and capital. So, efficiency and the technology evolved by people have made these countries rich and developed countries. It is depend upon the people getting these students. Now, I hope you all of you understood about why we needs to be invest on education and healthcare, and why it's required to convert people as human resources, and how can we get benefit, and how it is help to increase the gross national product or GNP. So I hope you all have understood this concept, and the next class we are going to discuss about economic activities by men and women. Economic activities by men and women. Regarding this topic, we are going to discuss in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.